What's going on, guys? I'm your host Francis Beau. Welcome back to Movie Stalkers. And yes, we still want to talk about Star Wars, but I saw The Fate of the Furious tonight, and I'm going to give you guys a quick movie review on The Fate of the Furious, and tell you guys if you guys can go see it in theaters or just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. This is what this review is for. So let's talk about The Fate of the Furious before we talk about more about that Star Wars trailer, because there's more things I want to talk about in the Star Wars trailer. But let's talk about The Fate of the Furious. This is the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise, and this is the film that does not feature Paul Walker because, you know, he unfortunately passed away while filming, wasn't Furious 7, but I think it was Brick Mansions, but he unfortunately passed away in 2014, and thus he couldn't do The Fate of the Furious. So, yeah, is the film strong without Paul Walker, or do you think that they need him? Let's find out. So, I will be completely honest, when I went into The Fate of the Furious, I wasn't super excited for it. The trailers haven't really gotten me. You guys saw from my reaction that, from some of the marketing that was going on, that I wasn't super excited for it. I was excited for the action scenes, of course, but wasn't really that invested for another Fast and Furious movie, especially with Furious 7 ending it off on a very good note. And I've always been saying that I feel like them doing another Fast and Furious movie isn't really needed, considering how Furious 7 ended on a pretty good note. But since Furious 7 made a bunch of money, I'm talking $1 billion, of course they're going to be making more Fast and Furious movies after this. So, how did The Fate of the Furious do? Well, we'll discuss my positives and my negatives and then my overall score out of 10, as we always do. So, let's first talk about the positives about The Fate of the Furious. The first positive that I gotta get out of the way is, of course, the action set pieces. Every Fast and Furious movie always has great action set pieces. Regardless of how the movie performs or how the movie is as a whole, all Fast and Furious movies have great action scenes. Fast 5 had a great action scene, Furious 7 had a great action scene, Fast and Furious 6 had a great action scene. All of them have great action scenes, and the car scenes as well are always fun to watch. It's just like racing. It's fun to watch. When it's an action scene involving cars, it's a lot of fun to watch. So when it comes down to the action, it's a bunch of fun. My favorite action scene is a prison scene. You might have seen it in the trailers. There's like a little prison scene that happens with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham's characters. I really love that scene. I think that's a great action scene. Personally, my favorite action scene in the entire movie, and really like that scene. It was really cool. I also really liked, just, you know, going off of the action set pieces now, I actually liked a lot of some of the emotional stuff that was in the movie, because there's actually some emotional stuff that happens in the movie, and you do find out why Dom turned evil, and needless to say, it's actually a pretty good reason of why he had to turn bad for a little bit, and it makes total sense once you watch the movie, and yeah, I like the reasoning for it. It's very emotional, it's very powerful, and, well, I wouldn't say it's very powerful, but it's very emotional, and it makes a lot of sense why he would need to work with Charlize Theron's character throughout the film, but you probably all know how it turns out. But, those are my positives mainly. I really like the reasoning why Dom turned evil, and the action set pieces. Everything else is what you expect. The acting is decent, not the greatest, but it gets the point across. I also think that Scott Eastwood was kind of underused in this movie. I know he's a new person to the franchise, and he'll probably get more screen time in the next Fast and Furious movie, but I felt like he just got a little bit underused in the movie. That's just me. I mean, you guys probably think that he probably got used right in the movie, but I thought he got used not so much compared to, like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Vin Diesel and Jason Statham. But yeah, the acting was okay. I really didn't like the first act of this movie, to be quite honest. It went very fast for me. All the stuff that happens, like Dom turning evil and a car chase scene, like, it all happens very fast in the first act, just so they can get in pace with the second and third act. And I hate it when movies do that. I like the first act to set up things, and then the second and third acts to be like big action set pieces which is what this movie does, but it's just that the first act is not a smooth transition into those action scenes. It's just all thrown at you, and it's alright. I don't mind it as much, but it just kind of irritated me that we just went really fast as to like why Dom turning evil, action set pieces, like it just comes really fast, um, and that's just my major gripe with the film. The first act did not really work for me, but overall, guys, The Fate of the Furious, I had some fun watching it, to be quite honest. I had fun watching it. Um, when the action set pieces are there, it's really fun to watch, and the reason why Dom turned evil, or why he went to bad, makes sense. And the only gripes is the first act. Scott Eastwood not having a lot of screen time, and the acting was decent. My other thing that I didn't really like about the film is that I really wish they had Paul Walker. That's just me. I felt like the film would have been a little bit better with Paul Walker. His character was just, he was really interesting, and he was just very cool to watch. So I think that having Paul Walker in the film would have been a lot better. But alas, he has passed away. So yeah, but I thought it would have been a little better with Paul Walker, in my opinion. But as it is, I think The Fate of the Furious is, in my opinion, worth seeing in theaters. I'm going to give The Fate of the Furious a 7 out of 10. It's a good movie. It's enjoyable to watch. Also, the soundtrack is awesome. I gotta say that the soundtrack is pretty amazing. But yeah, definitely check out The Fate of the Furious when you guys get a chance to. If you love the Fast and Furious movies, it's definitely something that you want to check out. If you're a fan of car stunts and all that crazy stuff, definitely check out The Fate of the Furious. I like it. It was a fun time watching The Fate of the Furious, and yeah, recommend watching it. And that's it for my review for The Fate of the Furious. Yeah, decent movie. Check it out when you guys get a chance to. And you guys let me know your thoughts on The Fate of the Furious, and where do you think they're going to go from here for Fast and Furious 9? Because I hear we're getting like 2 more Fast and Furious movies after this. And makes sense when you watch the movie. But that is it for my review for The Fate of the Furious. Make sure you'll be seeing more Star Wars videos, because I want to talk about more about the Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer, because that trailer blew me away. I want to talk about more about that trailer. And yeah, that's it for my review for The Fate of the Furious. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, as we end these videos, Beau out. See you next time. Peace.